I want to show you something. It'll be on this screen here. When you took over as Prime Minister in October 22, the polls were about 19% for the Tories. You started with a bad hand, I'll give you that, but you managed to start to get things back. You started to go up in the polls and you got almost up to 30%. But now you've dropped back down to Liz Truss levels, back down to 19 last month. And at the same time, Reform UK have been gaining support. Now, that's on your watch, isn't it? What's to blame for that?
Well, as I said, look, it has been a frustrating time, and I completely appreciate that. But look, there's going to be lots of polls, and you know this better than most because you've covered multiple elections.
They're consistently looking pretty grim, right?
But what matters is the general election, and that's what I'm focused
when is it?
on.
Go on.
I'm sure we'll get to that.
Tell us, reveal us, a Sun World exclusive.
No. Look, on that, I've been clear, actually, because I said, look, my working assumption is we'll have an election in the second half of the year.
You've been clear when it might be. You've also ruled out dates. You've ruled out a May election. You publicly ruled out a May election.
That's because we've got really important local elections to focus on. And actually, I'm sure we'll talk about that, but local elections are a great opportunity to see the contrast of what Labour and power means. Look at Birmingham. The Labour Council there bankrupted the largest local authority in Europe and handed everyone there a 21% council tax increase.
Can you rule out
in contrast to
mayors
like Andy Street and Ben Houchen in Teesside, where I was out campaigning yesterday. But look, I said my working assumption is there'll be an election in the second half of the year, and I'll stick to that. But ultimately, look, we've got a long-standing tradition. It's the Prime Ministers that decide when we're going to call an election, and I haven't decided because I'm busy focusing on the things that matter to people, which I'm sure we're going to talk about, making sure that we improve the economy, get people's pay packets rising, cutting their taxes, getting illegal migration down,
lots of our readers have written in.
You know, that's the things that I'm focused on delivering for people.
Scores, I'd go as far as to say, if our readers said they just want you to call the date now. Just tell us when it's going to be. Just tell us, almost get out of the way. With those polling numbers, can you understand why there's sort of growing rumours and speculation and briefing in Westminster that your political enemies within the Tory party might move against you after the May local election?
So, Harry, look, obviously, that's your job. You're a political journalist. You spend your time in Westminster. And if I'm being totally candid with you, that's not where I'm focused, right? I'm out and about across the country most of the time, talking to people about what's on their mind. And I've got to tell you, I was out yesterday talking to God knows how many people over the course of the day in Teesside. You know, were people talking to me about the date of the election? No. What they were talking to me about is our childcare reforms, the fact that actually this week we're rolling out more free childcare to working families, which is a good thing. They're talking about what we're doing to help them with their bills and the tax cuts that we're putting in place. They're talking to me about what we're doing, crucially, to cut illegal migration. What we're doing to cut the cost of net zero.
Can I read
Those are the things that people are talking to me about, and actually that's what I'm focused on.
Here's what people are talking about. Here's what one reader said. His name's Bertie. He said, in your local election broadcast last year, you said your party had 5 priorities and there'll be no tricks, no ambiguities. We're either delivering for you or we're not. Waiting lists are up, boats are up, growth is bumping around zero. Bertie says, do the public not have a right to conclude that you're not delivering by the standards that you set yourself and have a right to get rid of you?
Great, well, let's have that conversation. So I set out 5 priorities. Right, I'm actually delighted that Bertie has focused on those because I think they're the right ones, right? And let's recount what they were. So halve inflation,
I thought grow the economy. Quiz then, yeah.
Well, that's my job, not yours. Halve inflation, grow the economy, reduce debt, cut waiting lists, and stop the boats. I was very clear. And actually, as Bertie acknowledged, right, I did something that hadn't been done before. I was very clear with the public. This is what I'm focused on. This is what I believe to be not just my priorities as Prime Minister and as Rishi. I think these are the country's priorities. And I want to deliver against them and people can hold me to account. And look, the most important one was inflation, more than halved, from 11% down to 3.4%. The economy outperformed all expectations last year. And actually at the start of this year, the signs are very positive. Debt is on track to fall, as we said it would be, according to the Independent Office for Budget Responsibility has said we're meeting our fiscal rules. Waiting lists have now fallen for 4 months in a row. And admittedly, progress there has not been as strong as I would like.
Let's talk about the boats
and we all know the reasons why, but they have fallen for 4 months in a row now.
One more quick fire one, and people are interested in this one. When was the last time you spoke to Boris Johnson on the phone?
I don't know, actually. I spoke to him
Was he going to join you on the campaign trail?
I spoke to him in person at the end of last year, and we've messaged since then as well.
Is he going to join you on the campaign trail? Are you going to share a
platform?
What about Liz? What about Liz? Are you going to 3 of you stand there together?
Anyone from the Conservative family who wants to see a Conservative government re-elected and doesn't think Keir Starmer is the right person to lead our country will be welcome on the campaign trail, right? Because ultimately that's the choice. It's Keir Starmer or me as Prime Minister after the next election.
And Boris, Liz and Rishi.
If you want to keep cutting taxes, if you want a more sensible approach to net zero, if you want to tackle illegal migration, I think those are all things that your readers want, then we're the people that are going to deliver that for you.